Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's Verb video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's Verb video. Date will take us to the 16th of November. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. We'll extend GFS and ECM ensembles around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, we're going to get into the beginning of December. Can you believe that? So I should get on that for you in a second. Just to say that the first video releases our 7 AM upload. We've also released weekend broadcast, and at 7 PM tonight we've got the second Christmas 2021 update to come as well. So an epic day of content today. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Please like, share, subscribe on all of the videos if you are enjoying them. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, okay, let's start off on the 10 to 14 day. Then we're going to begin in the tropical Atlantic. So we've got Tropical Storm Wanda just here, a long-lasting tropical storm this, giving maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 998 millibars, moving southwards at the moment at 5 miles per hour. Clicking on Wanda, we can see that this is going to start pushing towards Ireland over the next couple of days, but it will go post-tropical. We're not going to have a tropical storm. So at the moment, Tropical Storm Wanda is just there. By Monday, post-tropical storm Wanda will be just there, and by Monday evening, very fast-moving area of low pressure, this post-tropical storm will be to the west of Ireland as simply an area of low pressure, and then that will, of course, be the end of this long-lasting tropical storm Wanda. Central temperature is looking like this at the moment. So the CT is currently standing at 7.6, which is over half a degree below the 61 to 1990 average provisional to the 5th of November. That's about as low as it's going to get. I think it'll start to level off and then probably rise over the course of next week. So I imagine that will go into the 8s during the course of next week. Might even go a little bit higher than that, maybe even into the 9s. It is going to be very mild next week. Might start dropping again, though, into the second half of the month. This is a CT page at the UK. I thought we'd just put that in perspective. So the central temperature, of course, is the longest standing temperature record anywhere on Earth. Goes all the way back to the year of 1659. The further back you go, though, the more unreliable it becomes, of course. So back into 17 and 1600 is just a snapshot, really, of the conditions back in that era. Right, so if we come down and have a look at 2021, this is the year that we're in so far, nearly at the end of it, of course. It's been a very strange year. We had a colder than average January, a very mild combination of February and March. We had our coldest April since 1986, and our coldest May since 1996, since when temperature's been generally on the up. So June and July were really warm. August was about average, so that was a little bit cooler as ever. August let the side down for the summer. And then we have September, which comes out warmer than the August before it just. And then we have another warm month in October as well. And then, of course, November's number is going to be placed just here. So, over the past a few years, this is how September is shaping up. So, our last properly cold December with a CT under 6 degrees was 2016, when we came out at 5.6. 2017 was a little bit cooler. That's about average at 6.8, not too far from normal. 2019 also at 6.2, a little bit cool. We had a mild November last year at 8.5 and a mild November in 2018 at 8.3. Very mild November in 9.5. Of course, that was followed by an extraordinarily warm, and I say warm rather than mild, December at 9.7. I think it's been many years before we beat that December CT record of 9.7. But November 2015 was also very mild at 9.5. Pretty mild one in 2014 as well, about average maybe, not too bad from average in 2013 and 2012 in the 16s, in the 6s, I should say, what we're talking about, in the 6s for those 2 years. Mild in 2011, cold in 2010, of course. That was the beginning of the December to remember, the freeze up of December 2010, and there it is, by the way, the CT for December 2010 at minus 0.7 sub-zero CT month, the first one since 1986, and the first one in December since 1890, and almost the coldest December on CT record since 1659, just beaten by 1890, but only just. But it all started at the sort of in the final week or so of November 2010. And so November 2010 CET comes out at 5.2, so that was a pretty cold one as well. Just generally oscillating over the years before that. The warmest November on record was quite some time ago now, actually. It's back in 1994, but it's exceptionally warm at 10.1. That was a really, really mild November. I'm sure, a lot of people will still remember that. Very gloomy and dank sort of month, but a very mild month indeed. And that remains the warmest November on record. The coldest November on CT record was a very long time ago. Actually, it's back in 1915. This year, just here, 1915 has the coldest CT for November at 2.8. Extremely cold. That'd be cold for like a winter month. That'd be cold for January or for February, never mind November. So that was a very, very strange period. So we had that extraordinarily record-breakingly cold November at 2.8. December's not too far from average. Then we had the mildest, the warmest January on record in January 1916, following the coldest November on record. How bizarre is that? And then it gets much colder again in February and March of 1916, and particularly so in March, which has CT only of 3.3, I think, 3.8. No, 3.3, isn't it? Colder March than February. So absolutely extraordinary winter, that one, 1915, 1916. But that is the coldest, I think, on CT record. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. There was one in the 1800s that got close to that, but I think that's 2.9. So I think that's the lowest November CT, but I haven't been able to find another one, but they are a little bit hard. As you go back through centuries, they can be a little bit hard to pick out. So I think that is the coldest. There it is, just there, 2.9 in 1807, which, very, very close to 1915, but not 1915, just 0.1 of a degree colder than that. I don't think there's another one colder than that, going all the way back to 1659. But I'm sure somebody will correct me if I am wrong within the statistics. By the way, 1978, because there has been a little bit of a similarity between this year and this autumn of 1978, I think. So 1978 was a mild November at 8.5. So that was a very mild autumn. 14.2 for September, 11.9 for October, and then 8.5 for November. So very mild autumn in 1978, followed by the winter discontent, a very cold winter at 3.9 for December. January at minus 0.4. The last time we had a sub-zero CT, January was in 1979, and a really cold February at 1.2 as well. So that just goes to show a very mild autumn. A mild autumn does not, in any way mean that you can't have a cold winter. So anybody that thinks that the mild weather we've had this autumn means that it's curtains for a cold winter, let's just wait and see. Of course, we might get a mild winter, but if we do, it's not guaranteed by having a mild autumn. They are two very different seasons, and so a mild, warm autumn does not in any way preclude or rule out the chance of a colder winter. Right, so let's look at the data for November. We should wait and see how the month pans out, of course. Definitely going to be turning milder next week, so that CT will be rising next week. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off pretty close to average at the moment. We're going to go a bit below over weekend and start of next week. And then through next week, actually going to be a pretty mild week, to be honest. The upper air temperatures are going to be mostly above average through most of the second week of November. Dates on the bottom of the chart, of course, up to the middle part of the month. It looks pretty mild. There is a cooling trend going on into the third week of November. We will see a cooling trend. How cold it gets remains to be seen. There are some cold outliers showing up. We had a couple of those yesterday on the 12Z and the 8Z, but particularly the 12Z. So there are one or two cold outliers in there. I think, the chances of turning cold through the third week of November are relatively low, but there is a possibility, and at the very least there's a bit of a cooling trend that's going on there through the third week of November. Precipitation-wise, going to be lots of dry weather. This could be a notably dry sort of spell actually coming up for the south and east. Anyway, there will be rain in the north and west. Barely any precipitation for London up to the 16th of November. Might get a little bit more unsettled after that as we push on into the third week of November. Temperature anomalies on the 6th to the 14th of November going to be milder than average, however, as we said that over the past few months. And precipitation anomalies from 6th to 14th of November will be drier than normal. We're basically back to the pattern we was in on and off through October, September, and even at the end of August. Latest wind map from earthandoldskool.net shows at the moment we're in westerly winds. We've lost a northerly, so temperatures have lifted up compared to the cold feel that we had a couple of days ago. We're back into westerlies now, and although high pressure will take over, particularly from the south in the coming week, the wind direction will be west, south, southwest, so always coming from a relatively mild direction. At times, though, we will pull some colder air into the far north, out of Greenland, just affecting the far north of Scotland. But generally, most places are going to be quite mild this week. Right, this is how the UK Met Euro is looking for midnight on Tuesday. High pressure into the south, low pressure away to the north and west. We'll be turning windy in the northwest, but a lot of dry and very mild weather down in the south. Into Wednesday and Thursday, high pressure reaches up and keeps the south and southeast mainly dry. Low pressure out to west will bring cloud and rain into the northwest. And on Friday, this area of low pressure will start to move in from off the Atlantic. That will bring outbreaks of rain. With it, some of that rain will be quite heavy and persistent, and then that low pressure gets out of Weymouth, Scandinavia, and high pressure ridges down from the north. We will turn drier if that comes off, and probably a little bit colder as well by next weekend as that high pressure ridges in from the north. A little bit of hint of northern blocking with that, but how long it will last, I don't know. We've got quite a deep area of low pressure just to the south of Greenland. That could well sort of demolish that ridge and send us back into westerlies. But quite an interesting chart for day 8. This is how the midnight GFS run is looking. Again, high pressure ridging into south, low pressure way to the north and the west, into the middle and second half next week. Lots of dry weather in the southeast, so the ridge of high pressure will be a little bit more unsettled with cloud and rain in the north and west. And then into the weekend, we find high pressure sitting over to the east of the country. That will drag up a very mild southerly wind. If it comes up, it will be cloud and outbreaks of rain to the north and west. By the time we get through to day 10, just getting a little bit cooler, but high pressure then pulls out to our west, and we start bringing something a little bit cooler and fresher from the north and west by day 10. Out into the extended range, we keep the pattern going. Really high pressure continue to sit very close to the south, southwest. We've got a lot of dry weather there, more unsettled up to the north with outbreaks of rain at times. Right to the very end of the GFS midnight run gets us to 22nd of November. Looking a little bit cooler then, with a bit of a cooler northwesterly shock coming in. But still basically the idea of high pressure maintained just to our west and southwest. This is how the 6 days is looking. Again, high pressure into the south on Tuesday. Low pressure to the northwest will be more unsettled up there. And then through the middle to latter part of next week, again, lots of high pressure in southern and east areas. Always a little bit more unsettled, though, out to the northwest. Next weekend, low pressure will start to come in from off the Atlantic. That will bring outbreaks of rain with it. And as we get up towards day 10, we're looking quite cool and quite unsettled then. With low pressure digging in from the Atlantic. So 10 a little bit cooler and more unsettled around day 9 and 10. Not cold, but a little bit cooler, more unsettled by around day 9 and 10 with the GFS 6Z. In the more extended range, again, lots of low pressure coming in, going, bringing bouts of rain from off the Atlantic to the north and west. A little bit more unsettled, I think, with 6Z compared to the midnight GFS run. But that said, always maintaining some higher pressure to the south, southwest, low pressure to the north, northwest. The GFS, after flirting yesterday with the idea of colder weather through the third week of November, has backed off that a little bit today. I think certainly the operationals. Moving on to the GEM. If you enjoyed the video, by the way, please smash your like button to make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think. Right, GEM looks like that. High pressure again ridging into the south on Tuesday. Lower pressure out to the north and west through the rest of the week. Again, this high pressure ridges up from the southwest, bringing quite a bit of dry weather with it into next weekend. Looking mainly dry, pretty mild as well. That's a mild ridge of high pressure sitting to our south and southwest. It's not till right at the very end, up to day 10, we start to bring a cold front southwards, which takes a band of rain and possibly start to introduce something colder from the north. So the GM looks like it's poised there to bring in cold northerly winds beyond or just after day 10. Of course, that's unreliable. It's a very long way off. Overall, the GM suggests relatively dry and mild conditions through much of next week. And then the ECM looking like this. So again, high pressure ridging into the south on Tuesday, always more unsettled out to the north and north and west. And then through the second half of the week, again, lots of anticyclonic influences. What rain there is kept, particularly in the north and west, lots of dry and mild weather in the south and southeast. Right at the very end, again, we see that high pressure pulling out to our west, northerly wind pushing down just to the east of the country, actually, just on the periphery of the coldest of the air, with that northerly on Monday the 15th and Tuesday the 16th of November. That's day 10. So you see most of the cold northerly air is like to our east and northeast, so Scandinavia and in central and eastern parts of Europe. We're on the periphery of it. High pressure hasn't gone far enough west to allow the coldest of that air in. So we're close to the area of high pressure and looking relatively dry and probably quite chilly. I mean, probably cold enough for frost and fog, but not a northerly plunge with the ECM. That's kept at bay just by the high pressure not going far enough north and west. Precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from meteo.com looks like this. Lots of dry weather coming up over the next few days for the south and east anyway. There will be rain at times in the north and west, but not all that much. Most of the rain coming and going is for more northern and western areas. Always the south getting the driest weather until the very end of the ECM run, when we start turning a little bit colder from the north and begin to bring some wintry showers perhaps into northern and east areas. But most of that cold air again is kept away from us to our east. You will notice from the south there's very little rain over the next 10 days, so we are looking at quite a prolonged dry spell actually. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met. It gets to the 16th of November. 30 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure pulled out just to our west. Low pressure is to the northeast, and so we're just on the periphery of that northerly, but most of it is kept at bay. And we have 21 with high pressure right over top of the country. That will bring lots of dry, fine weather. Might be frosty, of course, with that high pressure, depending on the exact origins of the air. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It gets to 21st of November. We have 19 members of the ECM ensemble still really maintaining high pressure over top of the country. That will be mostly dry. 17 with low pressure coming in from the Atlantic. That's going to be pretty unsettled and probably quite cool as well. I think just about on the cool side of jet stream of that. And then 15 with high pressure to our west, low pressure to the east, and northerly winds just passing to our east, giving us a glancing blow from northerly winds just to our east once again. So the hints are there, but we might get something colder through the second half of November, but at the moment, no more than that. CFS V2, finally, these are 500 millibar heights, broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 6th to the 12th of November. Coming week, we'll have high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. There will be lots of dry weather, particularly for the south, always more unsettled in the north, and it will be mild with winds in from the west. Week 2 will take us from the 13th to the 19th of November. Again, low pressure to our north, northeast, high pressure to our west, southwest. That's going to be mainly dry again for the south, more unsettled in the north. Winds are on a northwest, southeast alignment with the jet stream as well. Week 3 is going to be the 20th to 26th of November with low pressure to the north. Again, high pressure just pulling further away from us, allowing a little bit more of a northwest, southeast alignment to jet stream, so that could be starting to turn a little bit colder and perhaps a bit more unsettled, especially so for more northern areas. And then all change to week 4, which is going to be the 27th of November to the 3rd of December. High pressure then sets up to our east with low pressure way to the northwest. And if it comes off, we'll start to drag up a very mild southerly or southwesterly wind. So a very mild start to mid-Joshua winter if that comes up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's a long way up, only 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks away, so it's unlikely to verify. But cold lovers won't be wanting to see that verifying. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please use a smash like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. So we're going to put on around another 35 subscribers now to get to 12.5k. We are getting ever closer to 12.5k. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And, tell your friends, tell everybody to subscribe as well. Thank you so much. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much. And give us a thumbs up, please. Right, okay, that's it then for the 10 to 14 day. We've got the Christmas update coming up for you. Second Christmas update coming up at 7 p.m. Going to be a bit of fun. Have a look at the long-range CFS from West Central, and we'll see what that is showing for Christmas, as part of our Christmas countdown. Update number 2 will be released at 7 p.m. tomorrow. We've got the 7 a.m. broadcast. We've got part 1 of a 10th Winter 2021-2022 update for you as well tomorrow. and we'll be live streaming from 6 p.m. So it's going to be epic day of content tomorrow. But before that, the second Christmas update will be released at 7 p.m. So make sure you're around the channel for that. For the 10th to 14th day, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.